you're in a wetland area and you can't build this addition in a wetland area. What? So these are some things that you have to make sure, that you're aware of, but ultimately it's whoever you hire is responsible for looking into those things on your behalf. And so some of us who've been around the block a little while know there are other departments besides the building department that you need to call and look into. I have a job recently that I'm doing in Sudbury, and it's believe it or not, rare, but I called the conservation office and just asked them, are there any potential red flags that I should know about with my client's property here in Sudbury, because there's a lot of wetland issues in that particular community. She did a quick Bing Google map search, looked at it, we talked on the phone for a few minutes, she's like, no, you're good to go, no problems. So that really gives my clients a peace of mind knowing we've done the work on their behalf. All right, so I'm going to talk about briefly what are some of the potential problems of the design bid build approach. And one of the things that we hear often by consumers is that there's a failure of the design team to be current with the construction costs, and any potential cost increases during the design phase could cause potential project delays if the construction documents have to be redone due to the issues related to costs. So let me put that in layman's terms. The reality is, architects, and myself included, are excellent at our craft. I love to draw. I will draw day and night. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. That said, Stephen, as the builder, he keeps us designers in check with the reality of what things cost. That said, this is a problem in the design bid build approach. If you don't pull in the builder earlier on in the process, you have an architect you have a great relationship with, that's good. But the architect might say, well, this project's going to be $100,000. And the reality is, after all said and done, and you get the things fixed, maybe the furnace needs to get upgraded in order to accommodate the extra square footage for that family room. Maybe the electric panel is only a 100 amp panel. It needs to become a 200 amp panel because of all the extra electrical work. You follow me? That's all added costs under the hood that have to be squared away. If the architect has not thought about those things, the reality is the job cost just went up. And so that's a potential problem in doing the design bid build approach. One of the other issues we hear a lot is development of a cheaper is better mentality among general contractors. Let's face it, we're going through the Great Recession, it's called. So a number of contractors have lost a number of projects over the last number of years. So the challenge is, they have a real client with a real need, with a real project they want to do, in a real budget, but because they've been out of work for a period of time, they'll pull in subcontractors who are going to do the foundation work, the excavation work, the framing, the windows, etc., and they'll get a number of different subcontractors to bid on this project for you, but oftentimes they're going with the cheapest subcontractor's bid. And sometimes cheaper, I think we all know this, isn't always better. You buy something, and there's a part to it that's cheaper, that's going to affect the rest of it. And so that's food for thought to be thinking about. That's a potential pitfall of this process. I've seen, unfortunately, where a general contractor is ultimately responsible for the subcontractors that he's hired to work in your home. But I've seen subcontractors who were just so hurting financially that they ended up leaving the job and not finishing their piece. So who's left to handle that? I mean, these are some things that have happened. And that's why we have the Better Business Bureau and other organizations that are out there to field these complaints to know what to do in situations like this. I think as the general contractor is brought to the team, what I call post-design, there's little opportunity for input on affecting alternatives, even solutions from a material perspective. Again, I have a love and passion for design, and I've learned over the years, because I've worked closely with companies like Stevens, that I need to be very aware of the budget when I'm designing, so I'm not over-designing something that someone can't have. Because you see, and I'll show you towards the end, some of my 3D renderings and pretty pictures, you've already emotionally and psychologically fallen in love with a design that potentially you can't have. I think that's a problem. And so this is something that this particular methodology has to address in our industry. Okay, next. All right, why don't you share a little bit about the benefits?
One of the benefits of the traditional method is that the design team is working directly with the homeowner and could be, it's the only one involved, so he's looking out for the interests of the homeowner. The design team will prepare all the documents for the general contractors, and as Glenn said, the cheaper is better argument isn't always the best thing. The bid should be based on the complete documents, including all the electrical, all the landscaping, anything that could come up in the project.